So first of all, let's start with, tell us a little bit about what the first 6 months of being a coach has been like.
So the first 6 months of being a coach, I have been consistently living outside of my comfort zone.
Good.
And it has been incredible. It has been really incredible. I've learned so much about myself in such a short period of time, and it has already changed my entire life. So
that's massive.
Yeah.
That's huge. So tell me a little bit more about that. So what's been an example of something that's been a key learning about yourself over the last 6 months?
Yeah, sure. So when I first did the Fox weekend, I wasn't sure what I wanted to put my hand up for, but I put my hand up and sort of lent in anyway, because I was like, I figured that was how I was going to, achieve more growth.
Yeah.
So I put my hand up and I was chosen to have the one-on-one in front of everyone.
The coaching session?
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Yes.
So you went from not asking questions to being the coaching demonstration.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know what I want to ask, but I'm just going to jump in anyway.
Well done.
So I did that, and yeah, it was incredible. So Joe said to me what I wanted to be coached on, and I gave him an example, and it worked out that I had been living my entire life in this enmeshment relationship with pretty much everyone in my life. So no boundaries, just letting people have a say in every area of my life. So
people pleasing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Still gives me goosebumps today because it's constantly sort of working through these things.
For sure.
Yeah. And so that was a huge breakthrough for me, and I realised from there that I was in 100%, that I needed to just keep digging deeper and keep improving, keep growing.
There's something in that I think is really, there's two things that are in that are really profound. One, how common is it for us to be people pleasers? Oh. Yeah. Like, this is one of the most common things, to not learn how to have boundaries, and it's so, isn't it significant when you realise it and then start to reclaim, saying no to some stuff, or you work it out.
And realising that your time is so valuable.
Yes.
And especially when you have kids, and then you're already choosy about where you spend your time, and then being able to implement these new boundaries, it's just been next level.
It's so good.
In 6 months.
It's amazing. I love it. The other thing that I love about this is, and I really want to encourage everyone to have this moment as coaches, you have to have a couple of your own personal profound moments. And I love that you said it's like, as soon as I had that moment, I was in, right? So I have spoken to some coaches that have really been on the outer edge of coaching, looking in, if that kind of makes sense, not willing to experience it for themselves. And they haven't had a profound moment for themselves. So how can they be preachers of it to anyone else? Does that make sense? You have to have a moment where you go, oh, that was so good. And then you're just like, okay, I need other people to know this. And I think that's a pivotal moment when we have an experience ourselves and then we want to share it, which is why we recommend having coaches as well. So good. That's so wonderful. Now, let's go back a little bit. So 6 months ago, so you're a mum of 3, which I think is amazing. Because I've got one, anyone that's got more than one, I'm just like, how do you do that? So mum of 3, looking after your kids. I know you said you're on maternity leave at the moment. What was your original inspiration to join? Tell us a bit about that.
So I think there's been probably 2 significant moments.
Yeah.
So I'll just touch on them briefly. So after I had my second child, I went through what I call a motherhood identity crisis.
Yeah.
And I think I allowed that whole transition to completely define me. Didn't know what I needed, what I wanted, how to ask for help, boundaries. And I just found myself in this place of complete below the line. And I always thought of myself as quite a strong person, and yet here I was I was there with the kids, but mentally I wasn't there. So physically I was there, and mentally I wasn't there.
Were you resentful? Or?
Yeah. So my husband and I talk about this now, and my mind was, I was already leaving the relationship because I was blaming him for everything. Making me feel like I'm nothing, or just, it was so much easier to blame than sort of look within me. So that was, quite a big time in my life. And so from there I threw myself into work.
Okay.
And this comes back to like people pleasing and constantly chasing that happiness as well. So I think I threw myself back into work, and then it got to a stage and I thought, if this is what my life looks like in 20 years' time, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
And I sort of started to have a really tough look at everything in my life. And so that was all starting to happen. And then I had my third child, and the birth was not, I guess, how the other two were. So it just kind of took me, I was in a lot of shock, and I sort of used the words of traumatic, and that was really tough.
Was it premature as well?
No. So similar, but without the premature. So that kind of left me, I think, again, mentally, physically, just a little bit spiralling, you could say. Yeah. And so what I did was I took to social media and created an Instagram page, and I just started writing as like a way to express what I was going through. I went and saw a psychologist, and I just felt like I still had a lot of questions. And so what I realised was that through me having that creative flair on Instagram, I was meeting so many women that were also feeling the same thing, and just, experiencing so many different, just had all these challenges. And I was like, I think there's more in this for me. And then I found coaching, and I sort of looked at it like more, how can I now show up for me and start sort of, having that flexibility, so being mum and also incorporating something that I want to be doing, and here we are.
So good. What a story.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So good. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I was just thinking, wow, I just imagine, and you said it though, I wonder how many women would experience that. I imagine it just must be so common, and I really want to honour you for your vulnerability in admitting when you were in that blame place. Because I think I've met a lot of people that are just so, they hold on to being right. It's like, no, my husband, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes, it's never all 100% on either side. But whenever you hold on to I'm right, you're wrong, there is no growth. There is no relationship. There's no coming together. And you were stuck in that place, which I imagine would have sucked in every possible way for the family. I can't imagine what it must have been like to have just the continuous pressure of more children and not be in the best space. And for you to be 6 months in, you've got 10 years to go, and then another 10 years, and who knows where the awesomeness where you'll go. But isn't that just awesome?
Yeah.
6 months.
So awesome.
So good. That's fantastic.
That's really good.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And now, so tell us a little bit about, you said before that you are building a course. Tell us about that.
So I've got about around 40 hours of pro bono coaching hours in my 6 months, and I quickly have started to realise that the one-on-one for me has not, it's just taking a little bit energetically, I think.
Yeah.
And so
when you're time poor as well, as a mum, you want to choose where you put your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And what works for our family dynamic is for me to have that flexibility, but also the group coaching that I can do an hour a week with clients after hours when my husband's home just suits our dynamic a lot more. So I've been creating a course for mums who are also going through an identity shift, trying to work out who they are outside of those roles that define them, so mum, wife, partner, whatever it may be. And so the course is due to start October, and I'm just busy sort of creating that in the background at the moment.
Wow. So exciting.
Yeah,
good on you.
awesome.
Yeah. So good. What a good topic, isn't it? Yeah. Like, I think having a wife that's I've seen go through a challenging birth, I still have no idea what it would be like to be the woman, but I can just think, like when Bianca went through those challenges, I just thought, man, how could you not get depressed? Like, how could you not have some challenges that you need to work through? You know, get to the other side. So I love that you're doing that. So good. Now, what would you say to someone who's maybe just started their course today or thinking about starting?
This experience is completely life-changing, and not just for you as a person, but for everyone around you, and your whole life is about to change. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And even, like, I'll put a stretch of this, if that's okay. So my 4-year-old daughter's teacher messaged me the other day, and she said that they've been learning about the colour monster at school.
Okay.
And it's about kids' emotions
Oh,
and
nice.
putting like a colour to the emotion.
Yeah.
And my daughter was able to come home and talk to us about it, because we have this open dialogue now in the household that emotions are to be expressed. You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm here for you, safe space,
Oh,
all
so
these
good.
words. It's incredible. But her teacher messaged me and she just said, you're doing such a great job with your daughter, because
Good
she's
on you.
able to, she said to her friends in the class, emotions are there to be expressed.
That's what she said.
I was like, she's 4.
It's
So it's not
good.
just us, it's
Yeah.
like it's having an effect on everyone around us.
Yeah.
And I just think that's incredible.
Well, you can't put a dollar figure on that either.
You
the
cannot
business is
put a dollar
bonus
figure on
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, at the start of my journey, and I remember thinking, holy hell, like, I'm a stay-at-home mum at the moment. How am I going to pay for this?
Yeah.
It seemed like such a huge amount of money. And now, like, I wouldn't even bat an eyelid at it. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot put a price on this self-development.
Yeah.
Achieving what I've achieved in 6 months.
So good.
Yeah.
Good on you. Congratulations. Give everyone an applause.
Thank you.
So good. So good.